This is the front bit of the video that I'm doing at the back because I forgot to do the intro on the Morris commercial. So welcome all of you back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Let's crack on and get straight into it. So I wanted to show you this project that he's on at the moment, and as you can see I've got him on time lapse just in case anybody did want to see this. Chris is doing it anyway, and I was thinking about doing it as a bit of a Sunday bonus video. So drop your comments, let me know if you want to see this project go ahead. It'll just be on Sundays. This was Chris's late father's 1934 Morris commercial. TT. Now Chris's T2, sorry Chris. Chris's dad bought this absolutely years ago and restored it, and it was beautiful. And he actually sold it to a friend of his, and that's why this is all covered up, because it's still got the sign writing on it. Chris's dad sold it to a friend of his, and his friend had it painted in his company colours. He retired and opened a museum down in Devon. He shut the museum down for one reason or another, and just before Chris's dad passed away, Chris and his dad managed to buy this back from the chap that had the car. And Chris really wants to get this car back exactly how his dad had it. So he's cracking on. He spoke to the paint shop and they are very, very quiet, and they want to crack on and get this cab done for him. So he is in here now stripping it down, and he's actually going to remove this cab. The bulkhead all stays here and it lifts off. Is it all right if I open that door, Chris? Yeah. I'm just going to show you a little bit of the inside. Sorry, mate, I've pulled all your paper off there. So I'm going to have to hold that door, but he's actually started taking all the flooring out already. He's taken the base of the seat, the backing's still there, and all this dashboard stays in there. Is that right?
That's all part of the bulkhead.
All part of the bulkhead, and that stays in, and the fuel tank's just behind it. But absolutely beautiful bit of kit. And Chris wants to get this back maroon.
Maroon and black. Yeah.
Maroon and black. And it's all wooden inside. I will get round Chris's side in a minute because there's a bit more room, and I'll do a bit of a wide angle on it so you can see it. But all of these obviously have never been painted, but Chris said he wants to get them done so that when that body's done, it is all 100% immaculate. I'm not going to pretend I know what that engine is, but hopefully we'll shout in the background what it is.
13.9 horsepower.
13.9 horsepower.
Side valve.
Side valve. Definitely before my time, 1934. But let's get a bit of a wider angle on it so I can show you. Sorry, mate, I'm going to come right over where you are. But absolutely beautiful bit of kit. Please let me know if you want to see this in the comment section, because I'd really like to document it for Chris. We're going to be documenting it anyway, but this should make some really nice content, and I'd quite happily put a series of this out every Sunday to put out just as a bit of a bonus video for you guys. And obviously for those of you that haven't seen, Chris does have the Caterham Cosworth, and we have just recently done a couple of videos recommissioning that car back on the road for the first time in 11 years. So feel free to pop back through the catalogue and have a watch of that. it is the next day and we're pretty much good to go. We've just got everything out there, got it all ready, got everything set up. So we are going to attempt to lift the cab off. And I said to Chris, you know what, it's, even though there was quite a lot of time lapse with him stripping it down, I thought, you know, we make the video up a bit and show it a bit more in real time. So there is a bit of background noise. We've got the truck running and we are in the other storage garage, so it's quite echoey. So we're going to try and do this live for you, and hopefully we can sort of do it within 5 or 10 minutes. So enjoy it and I'll be back shortly.
What you have to do, I think you do right. You have to have enough out to lower it down. It's important before you hit the ground. Slow it back down like a train. It's the bottom.
Probably see hanging out the side of the cab there. Yeah, just to the right there, you can see the wooden frame hanging out the side. Chris actually made that up last night so that it seats nicely inside those door shuts at the top, and we're going to be using that as the lifting point. And then we're going to roll the chassis back into the garage and put the cab onto the frame, ready for the paint shop. We've just been and grabbed the shackle because the rope we're using is quite thick and it's not actually going to, both ropes wouldn't fit inside the hook. So we are slightly off centre there, so I'm just going to pause for a minute and we're going to move the truck over to the left a little bit, or the car over to the right. As you can see there, it's the actual Hiab. We need to get it in the middle, and if you can see, it is far too much to the right. So I'll cut straight back in as soon as we've moved one of them over. What we've done was chock the back wheel up, let the handbrake off, put a jack underneath the bottom of the car here, and we actually just pulled it over slightly. And if you see the rope now around the frame, we actually doubled it up on the fronts of the frames. So we're now going to attempt to give it a little lift again. And fingers crossed it all goes well. So we'll start the engine, just in case that battery runs out of it.
If I hold it, can you just stand over it and make sure it's not hitting the iron line? Yeah, I've got it.
Only the frame. Only the frame
So
thing.
if we rotate it, if you go back your side,
did expect it to be a little bit more difficult than that, to be honest. So we're really happy with that. We're going to get the chassis put back in the garage, and then we're going to concentrate. We're going to cut back in and get that cab mounted to the manoeuvrable frame that Chris has made. I'll wait until we was putting the cab onto the frame, but I thought no, it'd be a lovely time to show you the car now that we're outside. You can see it a lot more and Chris's plans for it. Obviously, like I said, it was his late father's car and he really wants to get it back to its original maroon colour. So we're going to be taking all of the black work off, all of the steps, and they're all going to be getting redone in black, I believe. The wheels will be getting repainted, and Chris is going to put paint stripper all over the engine and completely clean it all up, repaint it and refresh the whole engine. He said the chassis on it is absolutely perfect. It just needs a good clean, and it does, because since it was last restored in that colour, the blue, it was all done and it's never been touched since. We did have to unbolt the bed this morning, you can see, and we had to move it back about 3-4 inches, but that was literally just to give us that extra bit of clearance to get that cab off. We didn't want to be hitting on these two sharp edges here. We also had to remove the spare wheel because it was quite back heavy. He has popped the steering wheel back on there now as well. So down here, the paint has all cracked off, and Chris said this was the only reason really that they wasn't using it. It did have a small fuel leak from the petrol tap up here, and it had been dripping on the engine for quite some time. So his dad had already rebuilt a new fuel tap for it, and Chris has got that ready to fit into the tank. And it's crazy, the tank's right here behind the dashboard in these older cars. It's unreal. And yeah, so he's got the tap, he's going to repaint all the engine and get it back exactly how it should be. He did show me the dashboard just before we lifted it out, and it says on there MDW 1994 actually painted in there, and that was when this was restored and painted in this colour. Absolutely lovely thing. And Chris said as soon as it's done, if we've got to like drop a set of wheels over to Smarts to get refurbed, he said, you know, we'll throw them in the back of this and have a run over in it. It's absolutely fantastic. So, and that was really easy to get off. Admittedly, yesterday in that time lapse you would have seen Chris was under there for quite a few hours undoing all these U-bolts that actually hold it all together, the back there, and undoing all the bolts underneath, freeing everything up. We was a bit concerned about the rubber coming up over the petrol filler neck, but we managed to do that and got it all off okay. So let us know what you think of this car. 1934 Morris Commercial. And obviously, please feel free to look up that museum that was in the sticker in the window. I believe we've not got the window here now, but it was in the earlier clip. We are now ready. You can see the trolley just up here, the one that Chris made up. We're going to lift the cab right over, hanging off the side of the truck, get it down to the ground, and then we're going to manoeuvre the trolley underneath it. We're having to twist the cab so it's facing the Hiab so that it doesn't hit the roof. And once we come down a little bit, it gives you a bit more clearance and we can spin it back round. Hold it there, mate. Is that enough? Yeah. Excuse my driving.
bit more.
Under.
Yeah. A bit more. I think that'll do, yeah.
I can lift it around
Yeah,
right
I
hand
think
anyway.
I think that's about right. I think it's got to go to you a bit, the cab, or the trolley to me, mate.
I'm not going to be able to lift that, am I? Is that enough?
Yeah, that looks not bad.
And you want it on this, let me just come round here. You want this bit here to land here, yeah?
That's it, mate.
Literally right on the edge of it, or?
Well, in a bit. No, where it was hanging, really.
There, yeah?
Yeah, let it go. That's about it there, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're probably better standing here.
It's going to be a bit crooked.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, you let it down, I'll have it.
No, that's all right.
Got it, got it. Got it.
You happy with that?
It's not bad, is it? No, I don't think so. It's about balanced, doesn't it? It doesn't seem to be moving, so yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You put your brake on that back wheel, Chris? You going first or me?
I will. I'm off.
Hope you're enjoying the longer video, guys. We was going to do it on time lapse, but we thought, you know, everyone's sitting at home anyway. It's going to be a great video, so we'll do it all live.
We spin it now,
Yeah, what way, mate?
break off.
Yep.
We'll do there, mate.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's it. Basically, the paint shop guy wanted it on a trolley. So Chris knocked it up. He's sitting on there now. He's going to fix it so it cannot move off of that trolley. And the plan is, get it over there, get that all painted up, get everything else done. We're going to put all of the wheel arches back on the truck here. Then we're going to load the truck onto the back of my recovery truck once this is done, the cab. And we're going to take the truck over because there'll be 5 or 6 people in the paint shop, and we'll lift it back on there to save it getting any damage or scratches on it whatsoever. So Chris is going to fix that back on there, and we're going to get everything put away. There from Chris. See, he's put these blocks on top. Sorry, I've got a charger in. Bolted them down to the frame that he built, and then bolted the actual cab to the frame. So now it can just be manoeuvred around. And he wanted to create this gap underneath so that when they, so I'm just going to put that in my pocket. He wanted to create that gap so that when they paint it, they can get right underneath all of the edges all the way around. But it's really, really light as well. Obviously, considering the whole thing is made out of wood and it's just tin plate over the top. I am just going to ask Chris what wood that is. He did tell me earlier, but I've forgotten. 1 second. Chris, what wood was that made from?
It's ash frame.
Ash frame. So, absolutely incredible. And like I said earlier, let me know if you want to see this as a part of a Sunday series. Chris doing more work on the chassis, cleaning up that engine. You know, we are going to be filming it to create films, and I'm going to put this one out there as a bit of a tester, but more than anything, it's all for Chris to keep. So, let us know. So that is going to be the end of today's video. I really do hope that you enjoyed that I made it like a half an hour episode, 30 minutes. It's probably the longest video we've ever put out there, but I know a lot of you have got time on your hands at the moment and you do enjoy watching the longer episodes. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Check out the merchandise, the link is in the description. For the little sneak peeks throughout the day, Instagram, it's Salvage Rebuilds. If you enjoyed the video, please do give us a thumbs up, show your appreciation. We really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe and share. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you real soon in the next one.